Do you remember those action cartoons from the 80s and early 90s? The ones that were super cool, had a lot of unique concepts, memorable villains, great soundtracks, and were really bad at character writing? That's Sonic Prime, in a lot of ways. It feels like a deliberate celebration of a particular era and a particular style of action show, and it comes with many of the strengths, but also all of the weaknesses. For example, the characters are dumb, and their thought processes, physical limitations, and decisions are perpetually confusing, especially on the villain's side. In no particular order, am I really supposed to believe that Eggman Prime needed Sonic to crack open a mountain when he has giant robots and explosives in seemingly endless number? If there's a function to just make the Egg Forcer attack robots stronger, why wait to use it until the most dramatic moment, rather than use it immediately? Why not close all the blast doors to trap the heroes as soon as they escape, instead of at the last moment? These are some minor examples, but in general, the Council of Chaos, an evil crew made of 5 distinct intergenerational Eggmen, all seem to share one brain cell. That said, all of them are also really cool. They each have their own distinctive, over-the-top style that makes them fun to look at, fun to listen to, and fun to watch in action. Every scene with one or more of them is a treat because of their creative, colorful mech designs, unique combat specifications, and highly atmospheric theme music. Dr. Babble's mech is definitely my favorite, as it has the most obvious and entertaining gimmick, but Dr. Deep's is far more fluid in battles. Speaking of battles, they're definitely the show's strongest suit, and the biggest reason I kept watching. The choreography here is shockingly fluid and idiosyncratic, utilizing each character's unique capabilities to their full extent in the pursuit of explosively energetic, edge-of-your-seat action. The clever use of environmental props and otherwise ordinary background scenery as dynamic combat stages also makes each fight truly memorable. Not enough can be said for how well these fight scenes carry the show. Unfortunately, for better or worse, much of the runtime takes place outside those fight scenes. And don't get me wrong, in spite of the daft characters, overwhelming plot contrivances, arbitrary conflicts, and embarrassing backstories, the strong atmosphere and style of New York City, a world ruled by the aforementioned Council of Chaos, is worth sitting through the terrible dialogue. In my notes, I wrote, "It's like Sonic Force's setting, but good," and I think that has merit. New York City absolutely delivers on a world ruled by Eggmen, with all the goofy mechs, melodrama, and bleak smoggy streets that entails. It's a real shame, then, that we take so many breaks from that environment. At least twice in the show, we take a detour to other realities, called shatter spaces. Specifically, a vast jungle shatter space, and a waterlogged pirate-infested shatter space. These settings take up 2 episodes each, and they are by far the worst concepts the show has to offer. The stories told in these settings are bland, to say the least, and stunningly lazy to boot. Sonic gets new powers in each of these shatter spaces just 'cause. The characters are all dumber, one-dimensional stereotypes in these shatter spaces, just 'cause. And watching the script pretend to understand anything about psychology or the human condition is about as painful as it could possibly be. Honestly, when your season is only 8 episodes long, you don't have time to mess around with junk like this. The multiverse, or Shatterverse I guess, is incredibly underbaked, and a lot of time is wasted traversing these alternate realities to no real payoff. And the reason there's no real payoff is that, well, the unifying theme of Sonic Prime is pretty weak. The story told here is meant to demonstrate the flaws in Sonic's character, his recklessness, inability to listen to his friends, and how he takes all he loves for granted. He has to learn to appreciate those around him and see the beauty in the everyday world. It's a common theme in narratives like this, but Sonic Prime does not have the storytelling chops to pull it off, mostly because its characterization is so empty of any actual humanity. It feels like Sonic Prime was built around New York City, and then the crew was forced to make a multiverse-themed show because it's what's popular, and the pacing and writing suffer for it. In summary, if you watch the 4 episodes of Sonic Prime revolving around Green Hill Zone and New York City, you'll probably have a great time watching an above-average, ditzy action cartoon which is heavily inspired by genre classics. If you watch the 4 episodes where the characters dress up like pirates and tribesmen, you'll be treated to some of the most agonizingly self-indulgent flashbacks and hammy acting I've ever seen. Personally, I just recommend straight skipping everything but the fights, but there's no doubt that what Sonic Prime's accomplished, at least when it's firing on all cylinders, is one of the best non-video game adaptations yet. It's certainly better than the live-action films, at the least. Hey everyone, you've reached the end of the video. Thanks for watching. New Sonic media is always exciting, because regardless of whether I think it's good, it's just so entertaining to see new takes on the blue blur. I've been a fan of Sonic as long as I can remember, literally. According to my dad, the original Sonic was the first game I've ever touched, and it's heartwarming to see so many new and different takes on the franchise. Anyway, if you do enjoy my content, please do consider pledging to my Patreon. I've got a couple of cheap tiers, and if you do decide to subscribe, you'll get subscribed to my page. What do you call pledge? If you decide to give me money through Patreon, you'll get a special credit at the end of videos, and I'll make a video essay about a piece of media you request. If you think about it, you're practically putting more love and passion into the world by giving me money. Speaking of Patreon, it's about time I thank the lovely people who already support me.
Wherever you go, you'll tag along, you'll know when you wanna stay. Always be yourself, but if you can be a unicorn, always be a unicorn. Always be yourself, but if you can be a unicorn, always be a unicorn.